broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Thank you, Beth.
Hey.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Yeah.
All right, guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of AFTERBUZZ TV Scandal After Show. This is episode 15. Pencils down. I'm joined here. It's me and your favorite gladiators. I'm Emile Ennis Jr. In case you didn't know, now you know.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kennelia.
Hey, gladiators. I'm Sofia Stanley.
Hi, I'm Bamm Ericsen.
And we're about to break it down. So in this episode, we have the Republicans preparing for the debate. And we find out that Sally Langston, I can't figure out what I'm doing on my phone right now. We find out that Sally Langston is now going to be hosting this.
She's the moderator.
So it's going to be
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very awesome.
And she's perfect for it.
She is perfect for it. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. Let's, the way I have it broken down, I want to specifically focus on the Republican debate prep first and go by candidates, starting with Susan Ross. So Susan Ross, she is, as we see when she's preparing, is doing an amazing job. And she is very well-versed. She's well-spoken. She seems calm, collected, together, the complete opposite of Melly. And it's to the point where Abby calls Liv and says you should pretty much jump ship and join this side. Were you guys surprised at all by Susan being able to handle everything so well?
Not at all.
No.
She's it. She's on top of it. Or was.
And remember when she first came on the scene and she actually got to speak?
True.
We were like, oh, Susan's going to actually be the better candidate.
True.
So we kind of knew from the beginning. And Susan, she's a smart girl. She has that relatable thing that people look for in a candidate. Well, that you're supposed to look for in a candidate.
Right.
So, I like Susan.
Were you surprised, Emile?
I guess now that you guys say it, I guess I really wasn't that surprised. But for some reason, I don't know. I think she's just still growing on me as a candidate. Just because the way she entered the race, she was so unsure of herself. It's nice to, I guess, see her have confidence.
Well, I think she was unsure only because she felt that she was too real to be in that position. Because remember, I can't remember if it was earlier in the season or if it was last season when she questioned, when she first became vice president, when she questioned that big law, she kept reading. Mm-hmm. So she's very qualified to do the position. She just didn't feel as though, maybe I'm a little too honest for this position.
And to piggyback on what Bamm just said, I think also she felt she wasn't polished enough. And I think that's the unfortunate thing that, arguably, since TV entered the actual political race, looks and aesthetics and how you talk and whether or not you have a funny laugh or not, those things have now become important versus arguably being intelligent and, like Kennelia said, being relatable. So I think that what she felt insecure about was the fact that she may not have been TV ready, but at the same time, I think that her debate prep proved herself wrong. Does that make sense? I think that in that moment, I think she started to feel comfortable. She felt like she had this, and she definitely felt like it was literally and figuratively her stage.
Now, with Susan, we have an interesting situation happening.
What's up, Bamm?
What's up?
I know what's coming.
What?
This mess between.
So we have an interesting situation just because, first of all, it got complicated because Liv Liz pulled. I'm
And
sorry.
can I say something? Why did they do that? Like, why did they do that? I'm sorry, you guys. I'm having a moment. Couldn't they have called her Jennifer?
Exactly.
Elizabeth? Bianca? Anything other than anything linguistically seeming similar to Liv.
Exactly.
So Lizzie Bear, why wouldn't they call her Elizabeth? Sorry.
No,
Having a
I'm
moment.
because every single week I end up doing that. So Liz, she pulls David into the office, and Susan's sitting there, and she says that we need you to go on stage with Susan to publicly declare your relationship and let people know that you guys are an item. Now, for pretty much every week I say that David needs to grow a spine and stand up for himself.
You mean he needs to grow some balls?
Well, something. David just needs to be a new man. He just is super, super annoying this episode, and I'll go off on my rant later, but what bothered me is after he agreed, then he was talking to Abby and once again discloses information saying, I'm trying to decide between this girl and that girl, which is inappropriate in itself considering he used to date Abby. It's just awkward. Anyway, so then after all that goes down, when Susan is in the office with Abby and she sees David's folder, and then Abby says that, he's in here talking about how he can't decide between two women, he's juggling women, and then she finds out. First of all, that was a great moment because I was like, oh. Because that was what we all said weeks ago. We were like, we don't know how it's going to be revealed, but we can't wait until the moment it's revealed. And when it finally happened, I liked the way it happened. When she addresses David and point blank asks, are you cheating on me? Tell me the truth. I don't care. Just to be honest with me in this moment. And he lied.
Well, the rule is anytime someone asks you flat out, or you blah 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 blah, that means they know. So they just want you to say it. They want you to confirm it and say it. So the fact that he did not do that, I already knew that it was just about to be that it was gonna hit the fan.
I'm gonna say this. I've never met a man who was accused of cheating was actually cheating in real life who admitted it on the first round. I've never met one. I don't. So when he said that, I was like, damn, just tell the truth. But deep down, I was like, he's not going to tell the truth. Mm-hmm. He's going to say no. He's going to be like, no, babe, no. And then she gonna be like, okay, you said you ain't cheated, and then go back on her little way, and we were gonna revisit because there's always a second go around where the woman asks, and then maybe he'll say yes. So. I mean, dudes don't be telling the truth.
No, woman.
Oh.
Do one more time, Emile.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. What about you, Sophia? No? Okay. So then, keep going in the episode. And this is where I got heated. Because what did I write? I have Sue looking outside in the office. Dave, are you cheating on me? And he says, I'm not. I'll tell you the truth. I put lies, stank ass, and I can't say that word. Died, no spine, having ass. I was so mad. The reason why I got even more upset later on is because when he breaks up with Liz, he tells her that he's feeling guilty and it doesn't feel right. And then when he goes back and is confronted by Susan right in front of the debate while she's outside smoking, and she says, I'm dumping you. Do I need to spell it out and say it out loud? I love you. You're the only one I love. I care about you. So here's my issue. And this is with anything in any show, in any real life scenario. I just hate when people say all of this when they get caught. Because even though he's been struggling with it, he still did not stand up to Liz.
He did, ironically. Remember, when he stood up to Liz, when he was breaking up with her, he said, I'm in love with Susan Roth.
No. I mean, but he said he broke up with her after he got caught, though. After she confronted him and said, David, are you cheating on me?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. You're 100%.
You know what I mean? It's just like, even though I understand he was struggling, he was trying to go to Abby, and yes, I'll give you a hand clap for effort for trying to get some advice and figure out what to do, but you did not actually make action and break up with Liz until you were confronted by Susan, and she was led on by details that she found to say, oh, are you cheating on me? Because now that he knows, she has some type of hint.
Well, let's back up. Prior to that, he was cheating on her prior to the whole truth, so we know what kind of man David is. So if he can't handle the situation 2 weeks ago, what make you think that he's gonna all of a sudden become a changed man and then have balls and stand up and say, oh, you know what, I am cheating, I'm sorry, or tell Lizzie, we're done.
But he did tell.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm
He's saying like, if he didn't do it then, he's not a different man 2 weeks later. Like, he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
See, it's funny. I actually, maybe it's because I'm the sappy one, I took it completely different. I took it, especially even when Susan was talking to the president. I think the unfortunate thing is David does love Susan.
I agree.
Nobody's denying that.
I think that makes it worse. I think at the end of the day, you only get someone where they are or who they are. Like, love can't make someone be something they're not. So at the end of the day, David is spineless. At the end of the day, not only is David spineless, but he has some weird sexual fetish wherein he finds Elizabeth attractive, which I don't understand. But at the end of the day, sometimes you need a relationship to almost be slipping away, or for you to fear losing something, for you to actually realize what you have. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's kind of normal in relationships. Yeah. Like, that's why so many people, right before they're about to get married, like, the girl's like, oh my God, he won't propose to me, and they break up, and then what happens? He gets her back and they propose. Like, or something happens, someone's about to move away, and the person's like, oh my God, but I love you. That's kind of normal. And so taking away the fact that Liz is so deplorable, did they ever, and I'm being an asshole, but did they ever have the girlfriend-boyfriend talk? Like, did they ever have? Did I miss something
about both of those couples?
No, but
that
in general,
my next question.
Yeah. But in general, like, they're adults boinking. Let's be 100. At any time, and I'm just playing devil's advocate or angel's advocate, at any time did David and Susan have the conversation, we are either boyfriend and girlfriend and or we are monogamous? Or was it assumed because we think Susan is so nice and proper that it is implied in the interaction?
See, I never took it as Liz and David to be boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm with you. They were just fucking.
Right.
You mean Susan?
I'm asking Susan.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like I kind of don't. Not that I don't care about it.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
Oh,
so,
with Susan and David?
Right.
Oh.
No,
we've never seen the combo.
No.
It's never been a thing where, so we're officially dating. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, when they brought up the fact that he's going to come on stage with her, I would have thought that would have already been a discussion because you're running for president. If me and you were technically boyfriend and girlfriend, our pillow talking, we would have already covered that. So it's going to come up that I'm single and I'm a woman. I need a man. You're my man. So they're going to ask that you come on stage. How do you feel about that? That was both of their first time hearing about it. So I took it as David really isn't going with either one of them.
Yeah. Like, I'm not, and I'm not trying
he still was lying.
I'm not trying to beat this, but it's almost like we're not in high school. Like, we're adults. And in the adult world, if you do not have a conversation, then you are not in a relationship.
True.
So at the end of the day, and I know it would have made the whole show, and don't get me wrong, do I feel bad for Susan? I completely do. But to a certain extent, he wasn't cheating on anybody.
No.
He was just being a grown adult. That's why, backing up or going forward, that's why when Liz said, I wasn't even sleeping with anyone else, that's when you know, oh, you caught feelings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she
right?
caught feelings.
Because at the end of the day, without having the conversation, it's implied. So you taking it upon yourself to stop seeing people, that means you're invested, which is different than the other person. Like, there has to be an offer in exchange. I have to basically be like, do you want to be my boyfriend or girlfriend? And you have to say yes. We have to set terms. Terms is monogamy. And you say yes, I say yes, and then we are in a relationship. Do you hear me, y'all?
Well, you know,
otherwise you are not in a relationship.
Grandma said you're not you're single until you're married. So
I know someone else who says that too.
Yeah. But I knew Lizzie was going to catch feelings, and David's now in a situation because he doesn't have any balls. He's spineless or whatever. He has now a bitter girl who he was getting it on with, and so she's very spiteful. So
She called her a Muppet, y'all.
Yeah.
But then she cried
Not
at the
even-
end, so I'm confused.
Yeah,
that was
she's
stupid.
a hot mess.
Was
Let
the
us-
cry?
And I didn't like that. Can I say something?
What was it about?
Literally make her an ice queen. You can't make her an ice queen and now she's gonna catch feelings and then start crying. Like,
Was
that's
she
just stupid.
Was she pretending?
Well, then she's a
don't
good
know.
pretender.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it.
Y'all, let us know what you think on iTunes. Because we are, well, I don't know how I feel now, like after all. Anyway,
you.
let us know what you think. Go to iTunes, rate, comment, subscribe. Same thing if you're on YouTube watching live. Click that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And also leave a comment on YouTube as well. We really, really appreciate it.
And also, too, if you guys were watching Scandal, you saw a brand new commercial for a new show. So
What?
we now have Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, Scandal, How to Get Away with Murder. And on the new TGIT lineup, we have The Catch.
What?
Yes, it is starring, and I hope I don't get her name wrong, it is Mira Enois,
Okay.
I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, Peter Cross, who is from Parenthood, and it is one part Catch Me If You Can, one part Romeo and Juliet, and one part drama. So make sure you grab a cocktail, Thursday, 10 p.m. on ABC. Catch Me If You Can. Make sure to watch it.
Wait a minute, so I gotta switch from my wine to a cocktail.
A cocktail.
All right, I'm doing
Cheers.
it. I don't mind doing it. Okay, so let's go to Melly. So Melly, I mean, we all know Melly, and we know how she is, and like Liv said, how stubborn she is, and she's very much set in her ways of doing things. So Melly is doing her prep, and while she's doing her prep, she's freaking out. She's worrying about what outfit she's wearing. Like, she's just worrying about superficial things as always. Because, as we see later, Melly already thinks she's prepared because she's a know-it-all. And we have the focus group. She's listening to what they're saying. Of course, she's saying they're wrong. We don't need to do this. And I like... It's growing on me, this dynamic between Liv and Melly over what we're having over these past couple weeks, how we're seeing them deal with each other. And it's a nice change of pace from what we normally would have with them. If that makes sense. But as far as Melly goes, and I'm just going to jump forward and then we can jump back and dissect whatever, but specifically with the Gettysburg test, one, I didn't agree with that. Because, and it's kind of like, and now we see what Papa Pope's motives were, but still he was right when he said, you are trying to make her something that she's not. And when you do the Gettysburg test, like, for example, if you try to put somebody like that in that situation, it still does not ring true, no matter how hard she tries. Like putting a hat on, like
Also, not only that, and this is, and I was beyond irritated. So, did we forget that she's been the first lady for the last 7 years? So, how the hell did she ever go into a Gettysburg and we don't know?
Exactly.
So, do you think that Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, could go into a Chipotle and we didn't know about it?
Ain't nobody going to Chipotle right now.
Well, that's
But
well
yes,
said.
I hear it. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say? That's a good one. I don't know where that flipped in. Maybe they paid me to say that. Not really. Anywho.
That free burrito they give you.
Right, yeah.
That coupon.
No, trust me, I don't want to cease and desist. Watch, in my email will be like, Sofia Stanley, cease and desist, talking about
coupon.
Chipotle.
Oh my gosh.
Anywho, but I think that's the problem. I think that at the end of the day, in the same way when they were doing the press tour with Olivia when she was identified as the president's girlfriend, and they were like, yo, dude, like, you're not an ordinary, like, look your clothes, look your bag, so forth and so on. They should have taken more of that approach. Like, you can't make her into something she's not. You can't literally be like, you're not the first lady. You can't be like she's not her pedigree. You can't be like she's not a Rhodes Scholar. What she should have done is, to me, she should have taken the offensive. I think it is rather unfortunate that because I'm a woman and I'm smart, you think that I'm a know-it-all. Like, she kind of almost needed to do that. Like, she almost needed to do that. And I can't remember the comedian. Remember the comedian who has, like, the little billboards and it's like, if you don't watch me, you're sexist? She kind of needs to do that subtly. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, she almost subtly needs to say to people, if you think I'm a know-it-all, it's because you're sexist. They aren't necessarily sexist. She really is a know-it-all. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But she needs to take that, like, I'm woman, hear me roar. Like, I have to be smarter than everybody else.
I want to hear you guys' perspective, though. What if, for this Gettysburg test, though, so we saw it fail.
Yeah.
If she would have taken a different angle, instead of saying, like, going in there acting as she had been there before, why couldn't she have taken the angle of, I've never been here? Could she not have done that?
Completely. But that's...
She could have.
But this is a... Sorry.
My problem with Melly, I'm gonna smash her just for a couple seconds. My problem with Melly is
You smashing Melly?
No.
Knocking it down.
She has a nice ass though, but in real life. But anyway, so
can I say something?
does.
No. Can I say something? I think that every episode.
That body banging.
No, Bellamy Young is
Body banging.
head to toe.
That's that cornbread.
I think the same thing.
You know she is selling.
No,
you
and I literally say
cornbread.
note to self: eat more cornbread.
Yeah, country corn fed. But,
I cannot.
Yeah, we're from the north.
I can't.
Yo, no. Oh my god! And then my brain immediately went to Alex Marcus.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh,
Well,
we about to,
No, right?
No, we about to get out.
Yeah.
Alejandro Vargas.
really quickly, what I was gonna say about Melly and just even Liv in general, I think Liv and Cyrus's ways are the old ways
Very good.
versus Alex. And you know, they have more of a new way. You can't do that whole facade. I'm gonna quote you. Years ago, Sofia said, "The facade of a celebrity, those days are gone. We don't want the facade. We want in your face." And Olivia and Cyrus' ways are old, which is why the ways did not work. Now, as far as Melly's concerned and the whole know-it-all, I have to just throw this for a second. If you were so smart, Melly, you would have played the whole state winning situation and you wouldn't be in this situation. You're not going to win. Well, actually, I didn't think she was going to win president, but now that Susan Ross is going to be toast, I think now Melly actually could win. But no, Melly, you don't need to be president. Just sit down.
Well, I think this is what I think though. Bamm with the shade. I'm not sure. I'll save that for my predictions about who I think is going to win, but I think the fact that Melly, as Melly the person, Melly wouldn't go into a Gettysburger. Melly wouldn't go into a Gettysburger. So I would like to see Melly actually speak up and say, listen, I'm all down for the old school way, whatever way you want to do it, but maybe a Panera or maybe somewhere like that, because I'm not eating burgers. And honestly, most Americans are steering away from that anyway. So they could have switched it into. But no. But
I had to remember it.
no, it's not. Okay. With the McDonald's and the pink sludge and all this other stuff, people are starting to be more aware of what they're eating. Okay. So she could have. They could have switched it and said, actually, I haven't been to Gettysburg, but I go to Panera because they have different options, healthy options. I'm on my feet all day, so I need to have like a nice salad and a kale salad, things that'll keep me moving because blah 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 blah.
Isn't Panera bread?
But they have
they have salads now. They do. They have kale
They've always had
They've always had
salads.
salads. They have salads and soup.
Okay.
No, I think that Kennelia Stradwick should run Melly Grant's campaign.
Oh, you're hired.
Thank you.
I was trying to find this. Article where, because that particular scene just reminded me of that video that went viral maybe a couple weeks ago of President Obama going to that burger place and he ordered a Republican burger and Democrat. And
the tacos. It was in South
the taco place, and he was like some bipartisan. Okay, okay, let's go to. I'm gonna miss him, y'all. I really am. Let's go to the whole family. Hollis Doyle. So first of all, just to jump forward, when he had the bacon that he was cooking on the rifle, yo, me and Sophia's face turned so high when he took it off. That bacon still looked raw as hell, y'all. Like, I don't eat bacon like that. It gotta be real cooked, and that bacon
It gotta
was
be
not
crispy.
done.
I was gonna have bubble guts. I was gonna have the BGs.
Like, it's not even much to talk about Hollis Doyle.
He's authentic.
Yeah, he's authentic, but he thinks that he doesn't need to do anything because he's Hollis Doyle.
And they're playing pretty close to current events because Hollis represents a certain candidate that is out now. Very, clownish.
Last name is 5 letters as well.
Tell it like it is. It's supposedly tell it like it is candidate.
Racist, ignorant, backwards.
So, they're keeping it, in that sense, they're keeping it true to what's actually going on.
And not only that, though, I also think, and I'm a little bit of a political nerd, I also think that they're dropping really golden nuggets on how our political process works, specifically as it regards to PACs. So because Hollis Doyle is a gazillionaire, think about it, he had $500 million that he was just willing to give to Melly if she bent over, right? So he was going to have his super PAC run a commercial during the debate. Think about that. Think about if the debate all of the commercials. And when they say run a commercial, they really meant all of the commercials. Think about if you're watching a debate that literally every commercial there was a debate for one of the candidates. You couldn't help it. It's not even subliminal messaging. You're literally thinking, oh, that's the guy for the job. Mm-hmm. Why? Because you're seeing more of him. You're hearing more of him. You're getting your message beyond the little 1 minute quip, the 1 minute rule, the 30-second rebuttal. I also think what they're showing in contrast to Melly, who is a know-it-all, who's a Rhodes Scholar. I'm sorry if I want my president to know it all. I'm sorry if I want my president to be a Rhodes Scholar. I'm sorry if I want my president to know the price of gas in every single state in the union. I do not give any fucks. Sorry, I had a moment. But I really don't care if my president can shoot a pretend rifle at a gun range. Yeah. I really don't give any whatever that he literally got his money by doing something foolish. However, a big percentage of the population does. Why? Because people like to feel, some people, that their president could be their friend. I don't want my president to be my friend.
I need you to do your job.
I need you to do. But think about it. But that's why, arguably, and I don't mean this to be disrespectful to George W., but that's why George W. was so popular. Because most people knew that he may not have been the brightest. However, they felt that he was approachable. Contrast, again, with the current president. A lot of people say that the current president is a know-it-all. Why? Because when he speaks about things on a higher level, he takes a moment to explain things. Mm-hmm. In explaining things, it is reminding people that they don't understand. And instead of people consuming it and going, okay, cool, the president is actually speaking to me and cares enough to make sure that we the people, understand, for some, they feel turned off.
That's their fault.
True, but sadly, it is very endemic and systematic of the actual America that we live in. The whole concept of Sarah Palin being hot and possibly being a vice presidential candidate versus Hillary Clinton, again, no one can discount her intelligence. But yet, what do we want to talk about? Whether or not she flipped her hair or didn't flip her hair, whether or not she wears a pantsuit.
Yeah.
Pear shape, yeah.
Pear shape, like, I don't give no F's about that.
Can she do the job?
Can she do the job? Sorry, that's why I don't like women.
I already know where Kenelia's about to go. Okay. If you want to hear Kenelia's thoughts, please go to Happy Hour, Shot of Conversation on iTunes.
Right. And register to vote.
Yes, please register to vote.
And vote.
Quick
and get
question,
your friends to register.
Before I go to this next topic, I glossed over one aspect of Melly that I want to talk about. So we saw at the beginning when Olivia was handling the debate, like the actual debate prep, like prepare. You know what I'm saying? When she was telling them, no, we have to have a buzzer, we have to have a light, because if we don't, they're gonna run this, because Sally Langston is friends with Hollis. My question is, do you guys think, and then we saw how she handled the Gettysburg thing, do you guys think that Olivia is doing a good job so far running Melly's campaign?
Mm-mm. No.
I think Olivia is doing the job that Olivia has done since this show started. We, in our mind, created this superpower of Olivia Pope, that she does no wrong and that everything is perfect and that she does things. Yes, she's a boss and yes, she gets it done. However, when the Olivia I saw, this was the Olivia I've been watching since season 1.
For me, why she's not doing her job properly is because they don't match. You have to it's like us as entertainers, we have managers and we have agents, and although I'm making this entertainment wise, you have to be able to click and bond with the people that you're working with, and those two, all they do is yell at each other. There's no the same reason why Cyrus can't get along with what's his name, because there's no communication, there's no bond, there has to be something, a connection, and there's no connection between the two.
You make a good point, and I kind of want to argue against it, but I'm not going to. However, I actually adamantly disagree with Kennelia. And the reason being is I actually think that we have seen Olivia the Gladiator. I think we have seen Olivia who can breathe fire and turns everything to ash. And specifically what I'm remembering, and I can't remember what episode, but do you remember the episode where we had that hot senator and he was having, he had sex with someone and someone videotaped it because someone had a camera in his office? Remember how they flipped it and they basically broke it down to an issue of privacy and so forth and so on, like I'm single, whatever. There are so many examples, and I think that I'm going to say seasons 1 through season 3, that when we had the scandals of the week, they were coming up with new and refreshing ways to solve problems, wherein we couldn't anticipate the end, right? Where they were actually being organic and true to the person. So what they weren't doing is they weren't playing to public opinion. They were actually playing to who the person was. Fast forward to when they were then doing all of the press or the anti-press for Olivia with dog whistle politics. Again, they were playing true to who she was. She is strategic. She is intelligent. She is all of those things. And they were saying that any other words were basically saying that because she was inferior. I think this is because she's still concerned with Jake. She's not actually there. They did have a moment where they bonded, but this isn't her play, because she really thinks that whatever Jake is doing will mitigate any power she could get if in fact Mellie wins. So therefore her head's not actually in the Mellie game. Her head is in taking down Jake's game. If her head was in the game, Mellie could be the ultimate candidate. Mellie literally is an amalgamation of all of them with the exception of Vargas. She literally has great pedigree. She drinks moonshine, y'all. Think about it. And she's intelligent. She was married to the president, and the president cheated on her, and she literally stood by him. So she's a good Republican woman, but at the same time she's like, you know what, but I'm divorcing his ass. So now all of these independent women are like, yeah, you go, girl. She lost a son. She lost his son in front of the entire American people. They're not playing on any of that. Olivia could win this. Olivia's head isn't in the game.
Let me say this. Yes, Olivia, like I said, Olivia's a boss and Olivia gets it done. But if you go back from season 1 to now, we have said at least 10 times through each season, Olivia's off her game. The next episode, Olivia's on her game. Next episode, Olivia's off her game. The next episode, Olivia's on her game. The fact that Olivia is now off her game in this particular instance, she gonna be back on her game next week, and in the week after, she gonna be off her game. So
no. But you know what it is? But
I don't think it's not. I don't think it's anything to do with the chemistry between them. It's just the simple fact that Olivia, the character, is not a superwoman. They're showing us that some days you off your game and some days you on your game.
Because you off it, but not because she's not capable of doing it. Do you get the difference?
It's not that she's not capable, but some days she off her game and some days she on her game. But my point is this whole euphoric idea that Olivia is the greatest. She never makes mistakes, and when she makes mistakes,
no. Back up. I don't think anyone says she can't make mistakes.
And some days she be on.
No, and I think about it, I think it's very similar to even Serena Williams in the same point that Serena loses because Serena lost, not because someone beat her. Serena lost because her head's not in the game. Serena loses because she has an injury. No, but it doesn't mean that anyone beat her. I think there's a difference between someone actually being capable versus someone not being capable. The difference is, and I could be wrong, the way you're saying it is that Olivia never was a gladiator. Olivia wasn't...
No, you can be your gladiator, but everybody makes mistakes. So you can be a gladiator and some days you off. Gladiator don't mean perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Gladiator means that yes, some days you off, but you bounce back. And then the next day, if you off, you bounce back. Not that every day you ain't gonna never fall off, and then when you bounce back, it's because you beat yourself. No, everybody falls off.
And then I just want to defend Liv for a second. When she had the conversation with Quinn last week, she was kidnapped. I mean, I think she has a right to be off her game, as you would say, Kennelia.
Well, I'm just saying, we've been saying she's been off her game on and off since season 1. It's
so
not
we should
new.
just start saying she's Olivia.
She's Olivia. That's just that's me. If I'll keep saying it. I mean, y'all can.
I hear you.
That's my take.
I hear you.
I get both points.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So let's go to a lighter note.
That man.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So guys, whenever a new character is introduced, oh my God. I'm about to preach, y'all. Mm-hmm. Whenever a new character is introduced into this show, especially when it is a male character, immediately our eyes, our thoughts we judge to see how they're going to fit into this story. When Alex Vargas entered the television screen, when he popped onto the radar, we immediately were intrigued to find out, who is this man? Mm-hmm. When we found out that Alex Vargas is Frankie Vargas's brother, and then we saw how he spoke, we saw how he was able to energize a crowd, we saw his just charisma. We didn't see him shirtless yet.
Mm-hmm. Yet.
But immediately I know I was thinking, Liv, you need to get on this. Forget Jake. Get on this. Anyway, me being silly. Vargas campaign, Cyrus has somebody new that is really competition to what he's trying to do, and he made excellent points this episode where it doesn't matter what he does. Alex Vargas is family, and family is blood, and you're gonna listen to blood over you're gonna listen to, well, not always, but when they're qualified, you're gonna listen to blood over this new guy that manipulated you and run your campaign.
My problem with Cyrus is when the dude from Desperate Housewives, so what's his character?
Francisco.
Yeah.
Frankie.
Francisco said, do you have a problem with my brother? And Cyrus said, no. Listen, you should have said something then, because now this is about to be a shithole. This is about to be a mess. And as your campaign manager, he should have said something, because Frankie does not understand the overall picture. Yes, his brother is helpful in some other aspects, but your brother doesn't know everything, and so there should have been. I think he should have said something. So now I think Cyrus needs to quit, because little young buck is gonna give him a run for his money, and he's gonna go over everything that Cyrus does.
I agree. But I agree with you saying he should quit if that's what he wants to do, because I know if my sister was running my campaign and you told me that you didn't like my sister, I'd be like, okay, cool, you can bounce.
Well, this is my question though. Frankie, in that exchange, Frankie seemed a little naive. Like I took the brother coming in, knowing all this information and being a go-getter, and then when he linked up with Liv and had the inside information, I took it as, oh, Frankie probably doesn't know that his brother is doing it this way. He probably thinks that he's this motivational speaker coming in like, yeah, let's do this grassroots campaign. But on the back end, Frankie's like, I had no clue. So I think in that sense, I was like, oh, maybe Cyrus should have said something, but in the regards of maybe we should set up a meeting because we need to be on the same page. I didn't even know you had a brother. So, you know what I mean? Like I think he should have spent it that way. Like, you got to loop me in with everything so I'm not blindsided and out here looking stupid. But I do think Frankie doesn't know who Vargas really is at all. I don't think he does.
I would agree with that. When we go,
and he fine. Everybody on this show who fine always got a little dark twisty side.
And that's literally, I yelled that at the screen like 100 times. I was like, y'all, he's trouble. I was like, he's so fine. Mm-hmm. He's trouble.
I hope
please, dear Shondaland, let them boink.
And I say no.
And we need the long.
No, I don't give. Yes, I agree.
Give me something like episode 6 of The Trail when they went into the hotel room and they were like knocking lamps over and stuff. Give me some of that.
Agreed.
The different person.
I agree on the different person, but
with Vargas.
With Vargas.
No, swap fits out immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're done as far as I'm concerned.
Well, we'll go into that in predictions. So another thing that we had this episode was we found out that Ericsen, also known as
Puddin' Pop,
yes, is back, and he is going to announce that he's running for president.
Wah, 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 wah. Sorry.
So before we even continue, like, but seriously, we heard Sophia's reaction. That was kind of mine too. I was just kind of like,
I wasn't bored only because we went a whole 48, or actually a TV show is really 42 minutes. We went a whole 37 minutes of no Liv and Jake. Why? Because there was so much going on with all the candidates. Yay, more storylines.
I agree with that.
So for that reason, I like the fact that Ericsen, aka Puddin' Pop, is in the mix, because you have all these candidates, which will get different storylines, and then we don't have to watch, or I don't have to watch Liv and Jake as much.
I liked it. I mean, I liked the interaction between him and Liv, because it seemed like this was the first time she thought that he would ever run. Like, it didn't seem like they talked about it at all. It was like, oh shoot, it doesn't run it? Oh, okay. And I liked that he at least tried to, before we found out that he was getting money from Papa Pope, tried to show, or his character showed, that I'm not just this little Senate boy. Like, I'm not gonna just be sitting here doing the same old thing. I actually have aspirations and I do want to move forward. So I appreciated that.
See, and for me, I 100% agree until, again, why does everyone play their card? So you thought you were going to have Olivia walk into your office and you were about to be like, no, you got played? No, but seriously, and you don't think now I'm about to pull your rehab card? You a dumb...
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so like
No,
today.
because
but you're gonna say like no, like again, like you, and this is the only thing that's irritating me, okay, or not the only thing. To me, the major difference between season 1 and season 3, and I would love for you gladiators, whether or not it's on iTunes or YouTube's, to comment on this. To me, season 1 and season 3 was realistic to Washington D.C. Washington D.C. is a war game. When the position that you're in, you are strategic, you are reactionary, but at the end of the day, everything you do is life or death. So you're really thinking about it. These people are loose. Like, these people are playing Monopoly. They're not playing war games. So you don't, just because your ego gets upset, be like, oh yeah, so I'm totally in bed with your father, and what you thought I was just a punk, I'm not a punk. All right, cool, but now you're my enemy. When actually what he should have done is he should have totally played dumb and been like, what are you talking about? My pack is run by such and such, such and such, such and such, right? So that she would have come in, she would have felt guilty, she would have given him information, he would have gone, oh my God, I will totally look into that. Liv, thank you so much. See, that's exactly why, like, I know it didn't work out with us, but like, you'll always have a special place in my heart. Right? Mm-hmm. She would have gone back, she would have never played that effing card, and he would have been a G. Telling people what you're going to do is never a good idea. Why? Because now I gotta snipe you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You remember when they were outside in the parking garage and Liv said to him, "You will make a great candidate."
Yeah, I caught that.
When she just shaded him.
Yeah.
So I'm one.
But let her. My thing is this in life, like, and not for nothing, like, it's childish to literally let the thoughts of someone who doesn't matter affect you. More importantly, if in fact they do matter, you do not let them know that you think that they matter. Why? Because then they gotta put their gloves on. The minute I know you see me, if I'm coming for you, now I really gotta have my game tight. Mm-hmm. If you don't see me, I don't have to get my game tight. So his best facade, his best shield was being Pudding Pop. The minute you basically declared yourself to be a mini Rowan, no, now you stupid.
He did seem like a mini Rowan in that moment. And let's quickly, when Liv was talking to, before we found out everything was going on, which, by the way, Vanessa Moss and Quinn, that whole scenario, how they did Plan B and she put on the wig and she's like, oh my God, I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that. Mm-hmm. The only thing I will say is the only slip up, if Jake is the head of the NSA and she starts to spend time with this woman from college, if Jake saw or did any type of investigation, not even investigating, just somehow managed to see who she was hanging out with, because because of what he's doing with Vanessa Moss, you know he's watching her like a hawk. You're going to see Quinn, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, whoa.
The problem is, you are so correct, but again, because the show is messy, Olivia goes right into the restaurant and basically goes, I see you, I know what you're doing.
So then it don't even matter.
But I mean, it's literally like, again, people. Does that make sense? Let this asshole think he's winning, right? Hoes be winning. Let Jake, who is definitely think he's winning. The minute you call him out, now what?
And did she have to go do all that stuff in the bathroom?
It's payback.
It was payback.
I get it, but
I thought it was unnecessary. And then also,
so what? So then he's gonna go boink his girlfriend, and I'm confused.
I just thought. I felt that was written specifically for the fans who love Liv and Jake.
Was it?
I thought it was written for the fans who were so mad that he finger popped her the way he did, and they were like, "Yeah, girl, like payback."
Yeah,
okay.
Like it was a payback thing.
And again, I'm not
especially
in high
the way
school.
they showed her walk out, like,
Yeah,
but she didn't even do her walk.
yeah.
No, she didn't.
Right?
She was
She's
the hot
flat.
mess. Yeah.
it was like,
What
Even though
also,
her outfits are.
Yeah.
Everyone's is on point. Just one other thing about the one thing that I was on the fence about is the way the girl was just, I mean, she ran her mouth and she just gave up so much information.
But she
You don't know people like that?
I
know.
do. Wait.
Okay.
I know people like that. But when you are attached to who you are attached, I would assume that you don't think so.
Your reasoning is 100% correct. So you're basically saying, given the fact that you are engaged to the head of the NSA, you would think that you would be a little bit more wary of quote unquote strangers. I think the irony is, I think that's life. No one thinks something like that can happen to them until it happens to them. And again, he obviously picked her on purpose because there's a naivete to her. Even in the same point that she's like, oh, we knew each other from school, whatever. Oh, I look the same, blah, blah, blah. It's like,
no, you don't
not
look
for
the same.
nothing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be like, oh, so what class were we in together?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sorry, as we're talking, maybe I'm a B-word.
I'll be going to Facebook.
You go to LinkedIn.
Facebook.
Let me go to your LinkedIn account.
If we don't have no mutual friend, I did not know you.
I mean, totally could have been as inquisitive as those reporters were. Well, what restaurant? Well, what city? What did it was just...
No, but I think it's 2016.
Yeah.
Like, you would do that. But agreed. I think that, ironically, I think that her character is actually true to form, because I think that he picked her on purpose because there's a naivete to her. That's why she was so superstitious about the phone and this, that, and the other thing. Because even that, again, he's the head of the NSA. So even think about it. Even without the backstory with him and Olivia, he's the head of the NSA. You don't think that's a little bit weird? You ran into him twice?
Yeah.
So, oh no, I was about to share.
Personal story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Caught myself.
Well, last thing I want to talk about.
You guys forgot I lived in D.C. for a long time. Yeah.
Last thing I want to talk about, the conversation with Papa Pope and Liv when she goes and she asks him for advice. Now that we know a little bit of Papa Pope's ulterior motive and what he's doing, the advice that he gave her, though, do you think that was specifically because he's tied to Edison, or was he saying
both?
I think it's both. The fact that he, even in the conversation in his monologue, which I love because it wasn't real preachy this time. It was very straight to the point, and it was a talking tone. So I like this one. This was probably one of my favorites. He even dropped that little tidbit that he was even threatened by Edison, and I took that as not threatened that he thought Edison was a better man than him, but he knew Edison was a regular dude. Like, he could come in and fill a regular void in a woman's life for someone who didn't have a father, because Edison was like that father figure. You know what I mean? So I think that what he was saying to Olivia, yes, it was because he was back in Edison, but I think at the end of the day, if he had to choose everybody Olivia would have been with, I think he would pick Edison.
I agree.
So I think he was saying it like, don't throw the brother under the bus. Just, he stood up for you.
Okay.
And I can't remember what episode it was, but do you remember when they had that conversation on the bench and her dad basically was like, no, you're meant to stand in the sun. Like, you're meant to save us all. I think that for me, that's why, like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, I love Rowan. Yes, he is a sociopath or whatever. But I think he really does think that he gave birth to the next Messiah. For him to be God, Olivia is Jesus Christ. So that means he actually thinks she really wears the white hat, and that's why he had to make the Robin Hood reference. And in her having to take the white hat off, the only reason you would have to do that is because you are not, in fact, the Son of God. Does that make sense? It means you have to step down off of Mount High and actually stand with the rest of the peasants and the normal people. So that's, to me, how I took the tone. So even though it wasn't preachy, you didn't hear it preachy, I actually agree with you that the tone wasn't preachy, but to me the message was very biblical and very much like, know who you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, it may seem tough, and maybe it's also because it's Easter, and maybe I'm just, like, in that space, but it's like, hard times are going to come, but, like, you need to figure out a way and still walk the path of righteousness in order to get to your end goal.
I took it was very father-daughter to me, but in a very Papa Pope Olivia way. It was very Olivia basically said she was coming in to the situation, coming to him, and she already knew the answer. And so then he was playing the father figure, but he was doing it in a strategic way, as he always does, because, you know, Papa always can outdo his daughter. But in the very, very last scene, when he kind of gave her the business and you saw the side view, she was looking like the 16-year-old child who had just disobeyed her father, and she had this very sad look on her face, and she looked like this teenage girl. So I agree with you guys, but I take it in the sense that it was he schooled her in a father-daughter way and still tricked her as he always does.
Well said. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go to Kennelia's cold piece of the week.
Cold piece of the week for this week's episode of ABC Scandal goes to Miss Susan Ross, and not just because of the things that she was doing in this episode in regards to running for president, but the fact that she was outside of that debate scene with a pack of Virginia Slims in her pocket, honey. Smoking like the OG that she is. Susan was smoking that cigarette like she had Virginia Slims paraphernalia at the crib back in the day. Remember, you used to, I don't know if your aunties used to send off the proof of purchases and get the tote bags, the t-shirts, the book bag, and the coin purse. But Susan was smoking that cigarette like she had the Virginia Slims coin purse with 2 packs and extra change at the bottom and a thing of butterscotch. So for that reason, I give Miss Susan Ross cold piece of the week. Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Let us know who you think should be cold piece of the week using hashtag cold piece.
All right, guys, now let's go into predictions.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I predict the debate's going to be a nice hot mess.
I second that. Do we have a third?
I third.
Approved.
I agree. Yes, I fourth. But the paper that Olivia got from Vargas, I predict that it is going to be something on there, but I predict that it's gonna pain Olivia to actually have to come out with it about Susan. I think Olivia respects Susan enough, but once she sees that, she's gonna like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Because she has the dirt and she has to use it because Melly is tanking. But I think it's gonna be something Olivia really doesn't want to expose.
I think that Kennelia is 100% correct, but I originally thought that there was nothing on the paper until I saw the promos, and the reason being is I really want Alex Vargas to be an adversary for Olivia. I feel like it has been a minute since she has actually had someone which she really respects. I think it has been a minute which she has actually really had to focus and think about someone other than herself or Jake. So to me, that would in fact have been the ultimate power move, not only to get Olivia to turn on someone, but arguably turn on someone that she was that intimately involved with. Y'all, she sent him to rehab, and then she outed him. So I actually almost need Alex to have gotten the better of her in some way. I would like that storyline.
I think Ericsen or Alex has to go. Die.
Dang, during the
Wait a minute. First of all,
before the election even start,
Ericsen can go, but Alex cannot die.
Yeah, no.
One of them has.
you know how it goes on this show.
One of them has to go, simply because Ericsen is involved with Reverend Ike, and Alex is way over his head. Cyrus is crazy, and you just never know. He may get his new boo thing, Tom. I'm so confused. Like one minute I think he's gay. 1 minute I think he's playing the gay game. But then he took his clothes.
Oh, he was ready to go down.
No, he
going
totally
down.
was.
He was ready to go down.
Cyrus is a G.
Yeah.
And
Put your coat back on. Sound like somebody's mama. Put your coat back on.
Yeah. And then my last thing is I think Lizzie's bitter ass is going to sabotage Susan's campaign. And therefore Melly will then come up because Lizzie is going to play both sides. Listen, when someone thinks they have it their way in a relationship, and then when I'm controlling a relationship, and then all of a sudden Kennelia does something, and then you break up with me. No, wait a minute, no. You don't break up with me. I'm in control of this relationship. Oh, so you gonna break up with me? Okay, I got something for you. And
Wait a minute. But Susan broke up with David.
No, but David broke up with Liz.
Liz,
Okay,
yeah.
y'all.
Lizzie's going to be a bitter Betty, and she's going to come for Susan like Susan has never came before.
Poor Susan.
I know, poor thing.
That's gonna be the next hashtag. All right, guys. It probably was trending tonight. I bet you poor Susan was trending. Then they're gonna create a meme out of it with her sad face in the office where she was sitting in the chair far away.
No, they're gonna do one with the cigarette smoke because that was a better one. She was just
looking like Misty
but even the
outside.
way she was holding
just the way
it,
she was
like
holding it, yeah.
She was holding it like she had a Virginia Slim's wife beater on underneath that seat.
oh
Just like,
snap.
tell me again.
I cannot.
Are you cheating? Get raspy voice.
Yeah, we can't. Let us know where we can find you all on social media.
You can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen.
At Sofia Stanley, Twitter and Facebook. At the Sofia Stanley on Instagram.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Kennelia.
And you can find me at Emile Ennis Jr. and at Emile Ennis Jr. 31 on Snapchat. I forgot my password for the old one, the at Emile Ennis Jr. So I had to create some random one, the 31 man. Guys, and if you need an extra shot of conversation, search on iTunes for Happy Hour Shot of Conversation. You'll love it. Guys, thank you for joining us each and every week. We will see you here, same time, same place next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
And I'm Richard.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.